Did you know SCHD is up around 15% in the first 7 weeks of 2026, while the NASDAQ is down 6%? And right in the middle of that run, the fund is about to fire some of its own holdings. On March 23rd, SCHD runs what's basically an annual job performance review, a manager going through 100 companies and handing out pink slips to the ones that stopped pulling their weight. We're talking Ford, Amcor, and a few others that quietly failed the 4 quality screens. This isn't a crisis, it's a disciplined cleaning project, and understanding it is how you protect your income stream. So let's talk about how that cleaning process actually works, because the mechanics here are more interesting than most people give them credit for. SCHD tracks the Dow Jones U.S. Dividend 100 Index, roughly $84 billion in assets, a 0.06% expense ratio, and a current yield around 3.4%. And that index runs a fully rules-based screening process every single year. No gut feelings, no board votes, no fund manager waking up one day and deciding he doesn't like Ford anymore. Just 4 hard filters that every holding has to pass, period. Let's break it down. The 4 screens are cash flow to total debt, return on equity, dividend yield, and 5-year dividend growth rate. Think of them as performance benchmarks that determine whether a company keeps its seat at the table. A company has to be generating solid cash relative to what it owes, earning decent returns on shareholder equity, paying a competitive yield, and actually growing that dividend consistently over 5 years. Miss on a couple of those and you're on thin ice. Here's where it gets interesting. This isn't some random audit that catches companies off guard. Every company inside the fund basically signed up for this when it got added. They knew the rules going in. The process is designed from the start to keep the quality bar high, so there's no ambiguity about what's expected. Think of it like a company that only hires people who hit 4 specific performance benchmarks every single year. The moment someone stops hitting those benchmarks, they're out. No exceptions, no second chances, no, well, they had a tough quarter. The index doesn't grade on a curve and it doesn't have favorites. Now, the quality screens are only a part of what happens during reconstitution. The index also enforces a hard 4% cap on any individual stock. So even a company that's absolutely crushing all 4 screens can still get trimmed back if it's grown too large inside the fund. That cap exists specifically to prevent over-concentration and keep the portfolio diversified. And keep in mind, that cap matters more right now than it usually does. 4 of SCHD's top 5 holdings are currently sitting above that 4% threshold. Lockheed Martin is around 4.8%, and a couple of energy names are bumping up near 4.2%. So forced trimming is already baked into this reconstitution before a single quality screen even runs. Those positions are coming down no matter what. So what you're really dealing with is 2 separate mechanisms running at the same time. One is the quality filter. Did you pass all 4 screens or not? The other is the concentration cap. Are you too big inside the fund even if you did pass? Both of these fire every March 23rd, and both of them are going to move money around this cycle. The key is understanding that none of this is reactive. SCHD isn't panicking because the economy looks shaky or because some analyst downgraded a stock. The system doesn't read headlines. It just runs the same process it runs every year, on schedule, using the same 4 metrics it's always used. Most people hear reconstitution and picture something chaotic. It's kind of the opposite. It's one of the most structured, predictable events in the ETF world. And right now, some of the names that have been riding along inside SCHD are about to find out they didn't make the cut. Ford, Amcor, and FMC are the names most likely to get full removals this cycle. And when you run them through the screens, it's not really a close call on any of them. Ford is the easiest one to explain. The company has been burning through billions on its EV transition, and that spending has devastated two of the four screens directly. Its cash flow to total debt ratio and its return on equity are both in bad shape because of it. On top of that, its 5-year dividend growth just doesn't hold up when you stack it against other companies competing for a spot in the top 100. Ford isn't failing one screen, it's struggling on multiple filters at the same time, and that's a really hard hole to climb out of. Amcor is a name most SCHD holders probably couldn't pick out of a lineup. It's a packaging company, so it's never going to show up in financial headlines the way a Ford or a Verizon does. But it's been quietly underperforming on the quality screens for a while now. The company has been dealing with declining volumes, and even though it recently raised its dividend, its overall profitability score just isn't strong enough to stay inside the top 100 when the full universe of dividend payers gets ranked. The yield story isn't compelling enough to make up for the weakness elsewhere. FMC is an agricultural chemicals company, and it's in a similar spot. High debt, falling cash flow. Those two things together are basically a death sentence for the cash flow to debt screen. When you compare FMC to everything else in the dividend universe, it just doesn't rank high enough to hold its position. And Sunoco Products is also on the high probability removal list. It's another name that's at risk of falling out of the top 100 rankings entirely when the full scoring runs. Now here's the thing. None of this means these companies are going bankrupt or that they're terrible businesses forever. Getting cut from SCHD just means they failed this specific 4-screen test and something else ranked higher. That's it. Think of it like getting cut from a sports roster, not because you're a bad player, but because 100 other players scored better on the exact metrics this particular team cares about. The team isn't saying you're worthless, it's saying you're not the right fit for these criteria right now. And then there's a completely separate group of companies that aren't getting removed for failing the screens. They're getting trimmed because they got too big. Lockheed Martin is sitting at around 4.8% of the fund right now, which is almost a full percentage point over the 4% cap. So it's getting a haircut back down to that threshold regardless of how well it scores on quality. Phillips 66 and Chevron are both sitting near 4.2%, so they're getting trimmed too. These are forced trims, not quality failures, and that's an important distinction. So you've really got two things happening at the same time here. Full removals for companies that couldn't pass the screens, and mandatory trimming for companies that grew too large inside the fund. Both of those move real money around, and when positions get cut or trimmed, that capital doesn't just disappear, it gets redeployed somewhere else. But before we get to where the money goes, there's another group of names worth paying attention to. The ones that haven't been confirmed either way yet. Sitting right on the edge are 4 names that could go either way, and those borderline cases are where your income picture could shift in ways you're not expecting. Texas Instruments is probably the most surprising name on the watch list. It's a well-known, well-respected semiconductor company with a long history of dividend increases, so most people assume it's totally safe inside SCHD. But its payout ratio is sitting near 200% of free cash flow right now, and that's pushed its quality score to a multi-year low. It's paying out roughly twice what it's actually generating in free cash. And yeah, TI has enough cash reserves and borrowing capacity to keep writing those dividend checks in the short term. But that's not really the point. The point is that SCHD's cash flow screen exists specifically to catch this situation. A dividend that looks stable on the surface, but isn't actually covered by the business is exactly the kind of red flag the filter is designed to flag. UPS has a similar problem, just with slightly different numbers. The company is projecting about $5.3 billion in free cash flow this year, but its dividend obligation is around $5.5 billion. So you've got a $200 million gap. And if that weren't enough, UPS just announced it's cutting 30,000 jobs in 2026, which tells you a lot about how much pressure the business is actually under right now. In the context of a company UPS's size, $200 million isn't a massive number, but the screens don't care about context. They don't say, well, it's only $200 million short, close enough. Either the cash covers the dividend or it doesn't, and right now, it doesn't. Verizon is a different kind of risk. It's actually SCHD's fifth largest holding right now at around 4.25% of the fund, so there's real money on the line here. The issue isn't that Verizon is failing the screens outright. It's that its dividend growth rate is only about 2% annually, and that's being outpaced by faster-growing alternatives competing for the same spots inside the top 100. The 5-year dividend growth filter doesn't just ask whether you're growing your dividend, it asks how fast. And if there are better growers out there, Verizon could get cycled out, even if it technically passes everything else. Hershey is dealing with a real operational problem that's showing up directly in the numbers. Cocoa costs have gone through the roof, and that's squeezing margins hard. When margins get squeezed, dividend growth slows down, and slowing dividend growth is one of the 4 specific things SCHD measures. Hershey hasn't stopped growing its dividend, but the pace has dropped off, and in a ranking system where you're competing against 100 other companies, a slowdown like that can knock you down the list fast. Keep in mind, none of these companies are guaranteed to get cut. The screens don't work in isolation. They all feed into an overall ranking, so a company can have one bad number and still make it through if the rest of the scorecard holds up. But if you own SCHD and you've been counting on any of these names as meaningful parts of your income, you need to know they're under real pressure right now. Their exposure inside the fund could shrink significantly after March 23rd, either through a full removal or just a reduced weighting. And when that capital moves, it doesn't spread evenly across the fund. It flows towards specific sectors, and the shift that's already shaping up at the sector level is actually the biggest story in this whole reconstitution. Right now, energy is SCHD's largest sector at around 21% of the fund, and that number is almost certainly going to drop after March 23rd, which is a bigger deal than most people are talking about. Let's break it down. The reason energy got so large inside SCHD is that energy stocks had a massive run starting around 2020. Prices went up, valuations expanded, and those stocks grew into a much bigger slice of the portfolio. But here's the problem. A lot of that recent surge has been driven by speculation around Middle East tensions, not by oil prices actually moving. Oil prices have stayed relatively flat even while energy stocks climbed. So you've got this situation where stock prices ran up on geopolitical speculations, dividends didn't keep pace, and yields dropped as a result. And SCHD screens specifically on yield, so the very thing that made energy stocks look successful in the market made them less attractive inside this fund's ranking system. So you've got this situation where energy is the biggest sector in the fund. Several of those names are already bumping against the 4% cap, and their yields have dropped enough that newer alternatives in other sectors now rank better on the screens. Chevron and Phillips 66 are both in that position right now. Strong companies, but their price appreciation has compressed their yields to the point where other dividend payers are starting to outscore them on the metrics that actually matter here. It's kind of counterintuitive, right? The energy sector did well, but doing well actually hurt its standing inside SCHD. The index doesn't reward price appreciation. It rewards yield and dividend growth. So a stock that ran up 40% without a matching dividend increase is actually in a worse position inside this fund than it was before the rally. That's just how the math works. The likely destination for that reallocated capital is healthcare, consumer staples, and possibly industrials. These are sectors that largely missed the energy rally, so their prices haven't run up the same way, which means their yields are still relatively attractive. And when you combine that yield with solid 5-year dividend growth rates, they start ranking really well against the screens SCHD uses. Names in pharmaceutical distribution, medical devices, and household staples are showing up as strong candidates to absorb some of that incoming capital. That shift actually matters a lot for your income stability going forward. Energy dividends are tied to oil prices, and oil prices can swing 30 to 40% in a single year based on geopolitical events, supply decisions, or just demand fluctuations. Healthcare and consumer staples don't work that way. People buy medications and groceries regardless of what's happening in the oil market, so the dividend growth in those sectors tends to be a lot more predictable over time. And here's the broader context. Analysts are calling what's happening right now the Great Rotation. Tech giants like Microsoft and Nvidia have struggled badly in 2026, with some entering bear market territory, while value sectors are on a real tear. SCHD is up around 15% year-to-date, while the S&P 500 is basically flat, and that outperformance is coming directly from this shift toward dividend and value names. The reconstitution could actually reinforce that trend by trimming energy names that have already had their big run and rotating into healthcare and consumer staples. The fund could drop energy from 21% down to somewhere around 15 or 16% after March 23rd, and end up better positioned for exactly what the market is doing right now. And when you zoom out and look at the full picture, that's actually the whole point of this process. Every part of this reconstitution, the cuts, the trims, the sector rotation, is the system doing exactly what it was built to do. It removes companies that can't sustain their dividends and replaces them with ones that can. The index behind SCHD has delivered roughly 10.5% annualized returns since 1999 versus 8.2% for the S&P 500, and that edge comes directly from this kind of disciplined, rules-based turnover. SCHD's 10-year dividend growth rate is nearly 11%, and the projected March 2026 dividend is around 28 cents per share. And with the Fed projected to cut rates at least twice in 2026, dividend yields become even more attractive relative to bonds. So the timing here actually favors high-quality value names. Don't panic about Ford or the energy trim. Ask yourself whether you trust a process that's been quietly compounding for over 2 decades. Drop a comment below. Does knowing how reconstitution works change how you feel about holding SCHD?